folks, welcome back to yet another episode of Fresh Juice, an indie game podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tommy Fresh, and joined as always, it is
Maddie, the Juice Simpson. I think I said that last week. But what's up, everybody? How are you? Happy July, episode 141 of the Fresh Juice podcast.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Fresh July. That's what it is. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Technically, the last episode came out in July too.
Well,
but this is the first time we're recording in July.
And that's what matters, you know? I don't care when people listen to it, all right? Everybody wants to know, when did you record this?
yeah. And what time and what day and were you working at the time? No, of course not. We were potting. Pot is work. But
so yes.
So yes, in a way. Now we got a great episode for you. We're going to continue our summer of backlogs, baby. It is going to be fun. You're going to be talking about a game that you played. I hit up a demo that I had seen and had been interested in, so I checked them out. We are in the throes, I guess at this point, it'll almost be over, but the throes of the Steam summer sale. So we'll see if we picked up anything. I did. And I got some good deals on some stuff. So I'm excited to talk about that. Haven't played any of it yet, but that's what the backlogs are for, baby. Maybe next summer. But it's gonna be a good one. But how you doing, Matt? How was your weekend?
It was good. It was busy. We had the 3-day weekend, which was nice, with Friday off. And did I take Thursday? No, I did not. I was working on Thursday, but yeah, I'm trying to remember what I even did on Friday, to be honest. We went over to my parents' house and went into the pool with the little one, with little baby Juice, and she had a great time. Now, it's been, for those who don't know, it's been like over 100 here almost every day. It's been pretty brutal, but I gotta say, like, if I was outside and I didn't know the temperature, someone was like, "What's the temperature?" I'd be like, I don't know, 90, 95 maybe, like, I wasn't getting like you know, like, "Oh my god, this is over 100, this is awful." It's hot, but I don't know. I'm like, I was thinking it was gonna be worse than it was. And especially, like, I was even like, I don't even know if we wanna go in the pool, because it's just so hot. But no, everything was fine. The pool wasn't, like, super warm or anything like that. It was refreshing. And yeah, just had a good time with baby Juice. It was a lot of fun. Then Saturday was 4th of July. We went to Lady Juice's side of the family, which was a lot of fun. Her aunt makes these, like, super thin, she like pounds thin these chicken cutlets and breads them. It's kind of got like I guess she uses like milk in the breading. I don't know if that's normal. I have no idea, but like I've never eaten chicken cutlets just like straight up until I had hers, where I'm just walking around with like, you know, fistful of chicken cutlets, and everybody is. And she said she made 6 pounds of chicken cutlets, and they were all gone. Like, I went back to try to get more, and they were already gone.
Wow.
So those were delicious. They had like rice balls there, raviolis. They did the burgers and dogs later, and yeah, we were just hanging out in the pool. It was great. All of Lady Juice's like little cousins like love baby Juice, so they're always like cheering her name and stuff like that when they see her. It was a lot of fun, and she had a great time. Luckily, and then yeah, basically Saturday night after we had gotten baby Juice to bed, we were just like, we did it. We did it. We could pass out on the couch now. And I also did something which I've been wanting to do for a while. And I didn't even know if it was possible. I decided to just like, I was like, I don't know why I've never asked like AI if this is possible, but I use Plex, right, to watch shows. And
Yeah.
Lady Juice and I, not Baby Juice, Lady Juice and I, we watch a lot of like, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, The Office, Parks and Rec, like those kind of shows. So I put all of them, I call it shuffle shows, into one big playlist. Seinfeld, Everybody Loves Raymond, all those kind of shows. into one playlist, and then you just shuffle the whole thing. And so it could jump from like Seinfeld to Parks and Rec to like it's just all over the place. When you don't know what to watch, I'm like, this is basically like live TV without the commercials. So that's kind of so we did that, and that's been nice. I also did it for like Lord of the Rings for the movies, and for I also did another playlist for like I called it dumb funny of like Adam Sandler movies or Will Ferrell movies. Sometimes you just want to watch something dumb, but like you just don't want to think about, okay, which one do we want to watch? We'll just boom, shuffle it and see what shows up. So did that. That's been fun over this past weekend, just kind of not having to think about what we've been watching. Although my rec room will contain a show that we have been watching that has been great. And then on Sunday, we went over again to uh Parent Juice's house. I don't want to say
Daddy and mommy
daddy and mommy
juice.
juice because that's just weird. Parent juice, grandpa, grandma juice.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. And went in the pool again, hung out, just had a great time. We had sloppy joes, which are great.
Ooh,
Which I always think of Billy Madison when I have sloppy joes with the
lady, you're
cafeteria.
scaring us.
Yeah, lady, you're scaring us. Have some more sloppy joes. And yeah, so that was fun. Had potato salad, apple pie. It was great. Just a good way to round out the 250th anniversary of America. Let's see if we can make it another 250 years. What do you think, Tom? What are the
I think
chances?
we could probably do another 250
Can we?
days.
Is that on? Is that on Polymarket? Can I bet on that?
Yeah, I bet it is.
But yeah, that was basically it. Also played some of the game I'll talk about in a little bit, which has been great. Been able to sit back on the couch, relax, and play it up on the TV, which is always nice to do with my current schedule. So, yeah, that was basically everything. What about you? How was your 4th of July holiday weekend?
It was good. 3-day weekend. Friday, I was locked in. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be like
The very
productive.
best. Oh, okay.
The very best, the best that there ever was. Um, and woke up, hit the gym as I normally do. Got back, and this was the 100-degree day, right? Um, and I was like, I'll mow the lawn. So I mowed the lawn, and that was that was extremely hot. And then after that, I had to install some quarter round in one of the rooms here, so I was doing that.
What
I
is
had
that?
bought
Is that
that's
floor?
it's like the mold. You know what molding
Oh,
is,
oh,
right?
oh, it's the
It's like the little extra
it's the little triangle
stick.
kinda shape
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, okay, we have that too. We decided to
yeah.
get that because it was cheaper than removing the molding and putting,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
new molding on, I guess, to match the floor.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Nice, nice,
So I
nice.
was installing that because like the flooring that I put in still had like some gaps. I'm like, I'll just throw in the quarter round because I already did the molding, whatever. So I did that. That was cool, I guess. I don't know. It was kind of a pain, but I banged it out. But the cool thing was I had bought a miter saw. This is like totally like this is tool
I'm
time
into it.
Tommy right
I'm
now.
into it. Yeah.
I because I kept having to borrow stuff from my dad, to like do projects. And like I have a couple things here, but I didn't have like a miter saw. So like last time I did the molding, I had to borrow my dad's miter saw and the nail gun, blah, 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 and have to bring it all back. We were just out at garage sales and I was like, look at this miter saw. Holy smoke,
Oh.
$25. That's great. I was like, would you do 20? You go always $5 less. And the guy was like, yeah, sure. I'm like, does it work? So he's like, it does. We could plug it in if you want. I'm like, I believe you. So I just had this miter saw I haven't used yet in my garage. And then I was just like, time to see if this works.
Yeah.
And time to see and it's from like 1982.
Yeah.
So it could work, but also kill me, So it worked out though.
Nice.
I'm alive, obviously. And I
Let's see
was
all the
able to do
fingers. You got all of them.
all
You
the
good?
fingers, all the fingies are here. So that was cool. It was really hot though. I think that maybe you might be. I'm gonna say it, Matt. You might be a little bit privileged because
Oh, oh,
obviously
oh.
your AC works good. and well, and that's probably why it didn't seem as hot as it was, because I felt my AC chugging, and it was not getting to the right temperature, and I was like, oh no,
Well,
I'm gonna have to.
I have it in this room where I spend most of the time when I'm
Yeah,
working. So, but I've been in I never used to have an AC in here and I'd be sweating. I'd have to change clothes in the middle of the workday
oh
and I
god,
work from home.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it
No,
was
no.
brutal.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was I that those couple days when it was like 100 degrees, I was like, well, this is the true test of my AC unit, because if it can't do it, this might be the end of that unit. But it survived. Certainly, there's things we probably gotta get, you know, some new stuff put in. Whatever, it's fine. Go to 4th of July. Boom, boom. Go to a family party. Hop in the pool. So we have cousins that have kids now, and they're all fun. I got to see Caleb and Demetrius, like, just cute little kids, and you're just like, this is fun.
Yeah.
It's like, and play some can jam and some volleyball. It was a good time, and I like passed out when I got home. I was like tired, but Friday night we got this crazy storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went through the whole state, and like we had to take so many different detours just to get to the party, which was typically only like 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
Oh, so you were
So
driving there in the storm.
no, no, the next
Oh.
day, because it almost looks
Oh.
like where I live, it looks like a tornado went through. There was
Yeah.
down trees everywhere. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But Sunday, buddy of mine was up visiting from Virginia, so we played golf. Good to see him. And funny enough, we were both on the golf team in high school. We go play golf. Who's our starter at the golf course? It was our old golf coach. So
I was gonna
immediately he
guess.
was busting our chops. And he's like, "Oh, how many clubs you gonna leave on the course this time?" Like, Runk, it's been 18 years. How do you remember this? Like, so that was cool. I did leave one club on the course, but luckily
You did like
well,
mistakenly or on
I have
purpose?
this certain. Well, the nice thing is I have this app that I can, like, if I do leave a club, I could just go on and I can go to the Fresh Juice Discord
Oh,
and just kind of complain about it. But it's we have a Fresh Juice Discord. It's awesome. Go take a look.
yeah.
Yeah,
Especially if you're someone that wants to be a bot, it's a great spot to be. It is. We just let them in. We wave to them, and then they do something in the channel, and then that's it. Yeah,
I
it's
know.
good.
Even though they're getting, the bots are getting good. Bots are getting
Yeah,
good. But I will say, some of the other discords that I'm in are getting hammered by bots too.
yeah. Same with
And I
my
even
own
saw,
Discord. Yeah,
yeah, I
lately.
even saw some people talk about the thing that you mentioned, the honeypot thing. Um,
Yeah,
but whatever. We got a great show for you all today, and we're going to start off with a juicy take. If you don't know what a juicy take is, it's a hot take. It's a spicy one. And it's my turn this
yeah.
week.
What do you got for the people?
So I had to make sure I knew how to spell this word, but and look it up. I don't even know if I'm going to say it correctly. Tactility. Have you ever heard of this word?
Remind me.
It's like
I feel
something
like
that's
I've heard
very
of it.
tactile, or like,
Okay.
like it's the descriptor for tactileness.
Yeah.
Anyway, tactility is an underappreciated uh, part of game design, especially in the video game space. Now, you're
Hmm.
thinking, Tommy, what the heck are you talking about? They're video games. You're not touching anything. Wrong. First, you're touching the keyboard, you're touching
Yeah.
the controller, and this all kind of loops into controls overall. But like, there is another element beyond just controls. Does it feel right when you are pressing the buttons or clacking the keys for doing the thing that you're doing, right? Like there is it goes beyond just, oh, these controls feel comfortable. It's more like, well, yeah, the space bar feels like a dodge roll. Or
Mhm.
yeah, B feels like the block. Or boom, 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 boom. There is a lot of games that I'll play that like while I'll get used to the controls and I do think they're relatively comfortable, I'm just like, it would make a lot more sense if this was just spacebar,
Yeah.
or if this was just right click, or if this was just right bumper or something like that. And I know that you can go in and change that stuff, but like to me, I don't like having to go in and change my controls, right? Now, first, I know for a lot of gamers, it's very useful, especially if like for shooters and stuff like that and other first person games where you're playing a lot of that style of game and you just kind of want something across the board. I'm just gonna put FPSs and like third person shooters off to the side because I understand that. But I think for if you're gonna make a any kind of other game, right? Whether it's action adventure, because like it's less uniform in
Mhm.
terms of the experience across those genres. And I think that when you're thinking about controls, think about the tactility of it. And I think that a lot of devs can do that better. That is my hot take.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's an interesting conversation. I agree that there's definitely been games that I've played where I'm like, why is this button that? Either because of like kind of I guess two reasons. One, because historically in games, right, like block is B or whatever, and like
Mhm,
some developers try to change that or whatever. Um, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But also, yeah, what makes sense from like a tactile feel? The first thing I thought of was something that PlayStation 5, I think, started with, where they have these like I forget what they call them, but the triggers on the PlayStation 5 can have resistance to them. So like I remember playing The Last of Us Part 2, and like there were certain things you did in the game where like the character was like, really struggling to do something, and then you were also struggling to do it with the triggers. Like the trigger, it was harder for you to push it. And then when you went to the next scene, it was easier. So I think like I think PlayStation has done it better than as good as like a game company can do. um because I feel like Xbox hasn't fully explored it. I mean, like Switch has like things they've done with Joy Cons, and they've experimented a lot, but even then it's like it doesn't exactly translate to what's happening in the game. Sometimes it just feels like a novelty sort of thing. So yeah, I think it's definitely interesting. I even think of like VR, and like that's a
mhm.
big part that's missing in the world of VR. Not that it's like a huge market, but when you go pick up something in a VR game, you're not actually feeling what that thing is, and sometimes it can feel weird, right? If you have like a VR controller and you're going to pick up something and you're like feeling the controller, but the thing you are picking up in the game doesn't is like something fuzzy, right? Or something like that. It just like doesn't like connect really. So how would you? Because I think for like mouse and keyboard, it's probably a lot harder, right? Than like if someone was holding a controller. But like, how do you envision? Aside from like a controller, someone like shooting an arrow is probably going to use a trigger, right? Like that makes sense.
Mhm.
But how do you envision like taking that like a step further? Um, you know, like, is it a new type of controller maybe that, like, people can get for certain types of games to make it feel a little bit better? Is it exploring more of, like, VR, and maybe there's a new type of controller for that, or a new way to play games kind of? Like, ho what are you thinking that would, like, entice you to be like, "Wow, this is kinda the next step of, like, tactility in gaming?"
Um, I don't know if there's anything that like devs need to do because like you have like or like devs can't really change the controller situation, right? Like, you know, you're either having like the classic Pro controller, Xbox controller, PlayStation controller, you know, with some exceptions, and then you have mouse and keyboard. But I think you bring up something interesting, even when you're just saying like, yeah, like if I was going to shoot a bow and arrow, yeah, it'd be the right trigger or something like that, right? But what about this? Like, I'm thinking right now, like if I had a first person game where it's like fantasy and I'm thinking about shooting a bow and arrow, I would say, why not make it that you have to press right trigger and right bumper at the same time, like you're pulling the
Mm-hmm.
arrow, right? I don't think I've ever played anything like that. Like it's always
Yeah.
been one button,
Yeah.
right? Like kind of create a more immersive experience without like VR. Like just like with like you're creating almost your imagination with the controller, I think
Yeah.
is kind of like would be something cool to see going forward, I think is my take. But like
Yeah.
just thinking about small things like that, like, you know, what are you doing in the game? How does that translate to what you're seeing and then what you're feeling? And you know, and yeah, you know.
So what would you
So
do for like if you were just like touching two joysticks? Like what would you be doing in the game if that was the case? Get creative with it, you know? But no,
nothing.
I
I
I know
mean,
what you're saying. Like
yeah.
even like something that I actually thought was a little dumb that when it was first revealed was on the PS5. It has that like touchpad on the top.
Mm-hmm.
But I have used that more in games in situations where I'm like, oh yeah, this is the best option for what I'm doing in the game versus like trying to hit one of these buttons. It felt like I was, I'm painting something or I'm like lock picking kind of, or
Yeah.
whatever it might be. So I think that yeah, it would be interesting to like um to explore, more of like, hey, we could hit two buttons at once, or like, what feels most natural for what you're doing, regardless of like how many inputs you're hitting. Like maybe, I don't know, there's a isn't there a gyroscope or whatever in these things? Like maybe even the way you're tilting it, right? If you're holding your
Yeah.
bow, right? Is kind of matters in game. Like I think that there's a fine balance between stuff like that and then like what Nintendo does basically, where like,
Yeah.
like with
Yeah.
the Wii, like that was, it's fun, but at the end of the day, it's like it's not like it carried through and like that's the way we play games now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's worth experimenting with for sure. So yeah, I think it's something that like not a lot of people think about, and it even reminded me. This is kind of on a similar note, but like when we were at PAX this year, where's that booth where you could smell the game?
Oh,
There,
I didn't go to that booth.
oh yeah, I didn't go to it either, but they have these little like machines in front of the screen. So what you're playing, you're also smelling, which is
Yeah.
kind of interesting.
That's
But
a
I
large task, I feel like.
oh yeah, for sure because it's only going to work with certain types of games that have been like set up with it. But I love when companies explore different ways to play and experience
Yeah.
games, like that company might fail, right? But then another one shows up and they've got something even better, and then all of a sudden we're Ready Player One, no, something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well,
cool stuff.
I think like Nintendo's done it well sometimes, right? I think of like yeah, some of it gets gimmicky, right? Or more novelty esque with Nintendo, but like there's some good examples there. Like obviously like Wii Sports
Oh yeah,
is quintessential. And then like even in I think it was Mario Kart for the Wii where you can pop the wheelie by just flicking up the Wiimote and you can
okay,
also do the
yeah,
jump when you flick up the Wiimote. That was pretty cool. And then I think even to a lot of what they did with like the DS and like how you use the stylus and like how you can make that feel like some of that was also very novelty.
yeah,
But like when I think of Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow, you use the stylus for one thing. It's to draw pentagrams to trap the bosses in, right?
yeah,
And I feel like yeah, I wouldn't want to do that any other way. I want to draw it and yeah, bam, I got it, you know,
yeah.
and play everything else like normal, like a normal Castlevania game. So that's my hot take.
Yeah.
Call in, folks. Also, I hate stories in games.
Yeah, they should be more tactile.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No more writers. I just want touchers. But yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, that's
Steam
good.
Summer Sale.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier that you had picked up some games. What have you picked up so far?
So I picked up a game called The Horror at Hyrook, which is a game that I have had on my radar for a bit. It was on my wish list, and it was like 40% off. So I was like, that seems pretty good. It's a good enough reason for me to take the leap here. But it's like a RPG kind of deck builder card management game. So it's like, yeah, obviously I'm gonna like it. Plus all the horror elements, and it's got great reviews. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna pop in and grab this. I haven't played it yet, but it's in the backlog. But it looked neat. I think this game just like kind of oozes a lot of flavor. So I was excited to see it on sale. This one is gonna be fun to dive into, I think.
Yeah, it seems interesting. There's like, I'm kind of trying to figure out what's going on with the cards. Like, there's different rooms or areas that you're kind of placing the cards in. It almost feels like a deck builder meets Clue or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, Pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool.
yeah. I also got Cataclysmo, which is a game that I think we maybe even talked about at one point, but it was on like it's like 50% off. So I was like, this one also has great reviews. It seems like it could be like a lot of fun. So I was like, all right, maybe I'll take the leap on this. These are two games that I had my eyes on, but this one's like a base building kind of tower defensey thing that people really love. So I was
Hmm.
like, I might as well check this out. I don't mind the building aspect of like things like Minecraft, and then kind of blending in some tower defense could be cool as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, it looks cool. I don't remember
So
talking about this one too much, but we might have covered it, yeah, at some point. It's also Hooded Horse we just talked about the other day, of like them as a publisher. Didn't we talk about them? No. That's in something else I was working on, maybe. I don't know, but they did He Is Coming
he is
and Nine
coming, Nine
Kings.
Kings,
So maybe,
and
maybe
I
that
think Digital Sun, the dev of this, did Moonlighter 2 and Moonlighter, and they got Revamp coming out, which I am very excited about as well.
cool,
So
cool. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I
Awesome.
picked up. Did you grab anything?
I haven't picked up anything yet. Mostly because I just don't. I'm like, I don't even know when I'm gonna have time to play this.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be like Steam Deck verified for me to really like consider it. But there was one game I was looking at a little bit earlier. Keeps popping up on my Twitter feed. It's called Wigmund, and
Oh,
it's a single player game. I think it's made by one person, but it's kind of it's an action RPG, open world, like fantasy
oh, that
um,
looks awesome.
game. Yeah, it's got like a really cool aesthetic. It's got pretty solid reviews. Came out in 2022, so it's been cooking for a little bit. But one of the reasons aside from not really having a lot of time, but one of the reasons I haven't picked it up yet is that people say that it just scales, like the difficulty scales very quickly. So like it's kind of got that soulsy feel where like, and some people are like, you in the reviews, it'll be a positive review, but they'll be like, you need to, like, there's no way to change the difficulty. Like the dev needs to dial things back because it gets just too hard. But it is only $3, so that's why I'm like, maybe I just pick it up, and when I have time, I can hop in and play. And Yeah, so this is really, I think, the only one I've been looking at. I was looking at my wish list earlier, but there wasn't anything that kind of jumped out that was like cheap enough and had like good enough reviews, basically, for me to like look further into. um Also, just because I've been, I have a bunch of other games I still have to play, hence the backlog, right? But yeah,
Oh yeah.
Wigmund, I don't know, seemed kind of cool. I never heard anyone talk about it. I would love if this was co-op. I'd probably pick it up right away if it was co-op, because I could see a few people, playing it with me, but yeah, I love the aesthetic. I think it looks pretty dope. Really, the only other game outside of this that I've thought about playing, which isn't part of the Steam sale, is RuneScape 3. Instead of old school RuneScape, like they have apparently been cooking this year in RuneScape 3, and it's they remove like all the microtransaction bullshit that I guess like people hated about that game, and now they're introducing like player housing this month, so you can like
Whoa.
actually have your own house and like build it up. And it seems like I was actually talking with our buddy Cam about this. It seems like they're taking inspiration from like RuneScape Dragon Wilds, how you can like build up your base, but like now you can do it in like actual RuneScape. But I don't know. I'm like, that's another subscription. Like I'd probably end up buying. I might try it
Yeah.
out, but that's also a game where I'm like, when am I gonna have time? Um, but anyway, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'm not gonna lie. I just bought Wigman because $3 was.
Did you buy Wickman? Nice,
Yeah, I just bought it while you're talking
nice.
about it. There's one other thing that I am so annoyed that they obviously it's still like a good price for what it's supposed to be, but Esoteric Ebb is 20% off, but I feel like it's been 20% off like for the past couple months, and I'm just keep waiting for it to be more
Yeah,
off. I'm like I don't. There's something about it like I just don't know for sure I'll like it as much as everybody else does, but like I still really want to play it, and I'm like I just want like a 40%. Give me a
yeah.
40, you know.
Well, you
So
always get the Steam refund policy if
true, that's true. You
you're
know
not in
what?
the
That's that's a good point.
two
But
hours. Yeah. But
yeah,
I've noticed this with these kind of games that have like really great reviews, right? Like because I've been in the same boat for actually I don't really know, like Project Zomboid, very
hmm
positive. But this game is like beloved in the survival game world. I've never seen it more than like 33% off. I've always been waiting for it to be just like a few bucks, but
yeah, it's
I've
just like
never seen it more than this. But I just not that I don't know how much I'd play it because I know it's like a super in-depth sandbox survival game. And
mhm.
it's very difficult. But I'm like, hey, if it's like $4 or $5, like I only spent $4 or $5 on it. So yeah, I feel like that's kind of the thing with certain games. It's like the Nintendo treatment. It's like, oh, we know people love this game. We're not going to put it on a big
Mhm.
sale. But this game, I do remember you bringing this one up. I mean, the art style for this one looks so cool. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see why it's tempting you.
I know, and it's like this would be my foray into this kind of game, right? Like I didn't play what was the game of the year a couple years ago? Um
Well, for the king or
no, no. The D&D game. Oh, what the heck is it called?
Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't play that. But it's something that like yeah, technically I would really like it. Like I like playing RPGs, like especially in the tabletop sphere. And this one just looks cool. I love the art style and everything. I
yeah.
just want to just if you're out there listening, 20%, maybe like a 20. I'll do 25. If it goes to 25, mark my words, I'm getting it. So
Let's see. What's the cheapest it's been? I'm gonna look it up right now.
maybe I already missed it.
Hey, maybe, but maybe it might also be like, hey, check back in the winter. Maybe like, uh, let's say you can get it for on G2A, which is sketchy, but you can get it for $12. But
That
yeah, it
does seem
looks,
sketchy.
yeah, that I've gotten a few things from G2A like years ago, but I try to stay away from it now. I'm not even sure where you can see historical low. Oh, this is the historical low. Looks like. Uh,
Okay.
oh no, here we go. Yeah, historical low was $17.63 a month ago.
So maybe that was a 25% off and I
Yeah,
missed it.
yeah, it could be. But it's probably from one of these other like non-Steam stores, but you still get a Steam
Mm,
key. They usually run like
interesting.
different deals, but yeah, there's a 27% off right now, 26% off. Um, but it seems like it doesn't go more than like 30% off right now.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't have time for it right now anyway, but
Yeah.
I'll be keeping my eye on it. It's one of the few games on my wish list I check often. But yeah, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Notable releases this week. There's not a lot going on in the gaming world, as I think we mentioned before, but Palworld has hit 1.0.
Or it
How
will
about
be.
that?
It will
It will
be.
be.
Yeah. So on July 10th, Palworld hits 1.0. Have never played Palworld. I have a minute of playtime in it currently.
Hmm.
I need to play it because I know it's one of the most beloved kind of survival games that's come out in recent years. But yeah, I'm excited for 1.0. You know, I think it's a good time for me to hop in since it'll be a full release. But I know people love it. I put up a video saying that I had never played it, and everyone in the comments was like, "You need to play it like right now." So I kind of like stayed away from it when it first came out, like intentionally, because I wasn't fully sold on like the idea of like, I'm going to play a survival game and then I'm going to have my companions do all this work for me. Right. Like, I was like, I don't know. I like doing the grinding. Like, I don't want to like have these Pokemon kind of things do it for me. But then I don't know, I kind of warmed up to it. There's been other games I've played that kind of had that system, and I'm like, all right, well, if Palworld does it really well, then maybe I should try it out. But uh, yeah, so is this a game that like, I mean, I know it's like Pokemon ish. Like, is this any interest to you out of curiosity, or is this not up
No,
your alley?
not really. You know,
Yeah.
I like. I'm not opposed to it, but there's nothing about it that is telling me it's going to give me something that Pokemon like hasn't given me, or the things that I want out of Pokemon.
Yeah.
I think that it's probably for the other side of the Pokemon community that's been looking for something different. And yeah, well, you know, it's not my genre.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
shade, no shade to the pals out there.
Yeah.
But um also Backyard Baseball is getting re-released. You
Yes, it
guys
is.
ready?
It is, yeah, they're remastering it, looks like, new modes, enhanced gameplay. This was at PAX too. I don't know if it was this version of it because I know they've started um releasing like the original versions, like it's on iOS and Android now. I don't it's one of those games that just is it's just nostalgia for me. I don't think the gameplay
Mm-hmm.
is that great or anything like that, but I am curious to see what people say about this one. Just to see if I don't know, is there a battle royale mode? No, but there is online PvP, so I imagine I'll see some people streaming this, but yeah, I don't know, it's cool to see like this dormant franchise kind of come back, right? And maybe there'll be a whole new wave of kids that appreciate backyard baseball and the other backyard sports, I guess if they do that, but um yeah.
I love these games as a kid, so yeah, I'm not opposed to seeing this. I don't think I'll be playing it. I mean, it would be like I don't have that many memories of the game. I remember obviously like Pablo Sanchez, Wheeler, was it Pete Wheeler?
Yeah,
Was
Pete Wheeler, he was the fast
yeah,
one. Yeah.
the fast one.
Pablo, there's Kenny, you know.
And then backyard football I remember playing had Brett Favre in it. I think he also had Drew Bledsoe. And then, golly, who else? Maybe Randy Moss, Randall Cunningham,
Oh,
maybe.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. Cool stuff. Cool
Yeah.
stuff.
I just got an alert that this game is now 40% off. Fellowship,
Oh,
which I
Fellowship.
know
I've been looking at this one too.
we have been looking at it. So it's still early access, but it's 40% off. Right now it's $15. So I'll have to take a deeper look at this, maybe look at some reviews on YouTube or something like that. But um yeah, this one has had my interest as well.
Yeah, it's one that I asked. I know a buddy of mine plays it, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I like it sometimes." I don't think he's played it recently, but you know. I
Yeah,
don't know. It does look cool. I don't know.
it
These too many
does.
games, not enough
I know.
time.
I know.
News. Xbox.
Whew.
Is it the end?
Yeah, it's this was rumored to be happening last week, and it's official today. Xbox has announced 3,200 layoffs, that are 1,600 of them today, and another 1,600 happening in 2027. And the good news about this, because there's not a lot of good news here, but the good news is that none of the studios that were rumored to be closed are actually closing. They're just going independent. So
Mhm.
that includes, let me see, Ninja Theory, Undead Labs, Compulsion Games, and Double Fine are all going independent, or independent again if they were previously. Compulsion Games did South of Midnight, Double Fine, Psychonauts, Ninja Theory, Hellblade, and State of Decay for Undead Labs. It's just kind of wild because, I mean, Hellblade and State of Decay just had big reveals at the Xbox showcase, right? Like not even, or basically like a month ago. So there were rumors that they were going to be closing, and like that seems crazy because they just announced a new game. So it's good to see that that's not actually happening. But it basically what Asha Sharma, who's the CEO of Xbox now, she was basically saying in her message here, which I won't read the whole thing, but um, basically Xbox had been like aggressively expanding its portfolio since 2018. Obviously, like the Activision acquisition, they went really hard into Game Pass, and they were spending a ton of money, and they didn't see a good return from it, which I think a lot of people sort of know now and knew before even this statement came out. But it says that they lost 64 cents for every dollar that they invested, which is
Whoa.
terrible. So this isn't a at least from how I'm viewing this, this isn't a, hey, we are laying people off to replace people with AI, right? Which seems to be happening a lot in the tech industry, which this could still be happening here, right? This
Mhm.
is more of a, we we have expanded way too far beyond our reach, thinking it would help us reach our goals, and we fell short, and now we need to cut back, and she's calling it a reset to Xbox here. So I don't know. There's obviously that news with Sony, and they're not going to be producing physical discs after 2028. And then the rumor with the new Xbox not having discs, like there's a lot of cost cutting kind of happening in the industry right now. And I personally hope that this is a true reset for Xbox where like they can start investing in things properly. They even made a point in this statement saying that they realized that Xbox isn't the best place for certain types of studios. Where before they were just trying to, they Call of Duty and Blizzard, and they were trying to get everything under that, and under the Xbox name, and it just doesn't work. That they're realizing it didn't really work that well for certain types of studios, which I think is like a big thing to admit, to be like, hey, Xbox isn't the best place for all studios to be. Um, but it's also something that they could have maybe figured out before doing all this. But yeah, this is, it's shitty. It sucks. I mean, I, it's at the point where it's like, where are all these people going to go? The people that are laid
Mhm.
off. There's no gaming companies are really hiring. I mean, unless you're Nintendo, I guess, but um, it's a really tough time in the industry, and hopefully this is the last big news we see for the year. I would hope in terms of like massive layoffs, but anyway, what are you thinking about this, Tommy?
Well, it's not surprising, right? It's kind of how the industry's been going. We do an indie game podcast, right? Like, yeah, there's some like big studio stuff that we'll get somewhat excited about, and maybe you more than me, but like, I think that's even generally just how people like there's no like loyalty anymore. Like the old console wars is over, right? It's like
Well, I don't think it's as over as you might think it is,
well,
but it's
like the
definitely
old,
less loud than it used to
yeah,
be. Yeah,
it's not like what it was, right?
yeah,
Like where, people would just bicker and argue about it as much, right? I think there are always people, there's certain tribalism, but it's not, they're doing it because they like one better. They're not doing it because like I will everything the Xbox does, I'm doing Xbox, or anything that Sony does, I'm doing Sony. People now just get hyped about, I think, just good games, right? They don't care where it's coming from at this point. And I mean, like, yeah, people will, hem and haw about Nintendo or whatever, but that's just that's just how it will be. Nintendo fans will always go to Nintendo, right? That's just because they provide an experience that these other companies don't do. I think that you can't get away with just producing these kind of like, I think, like mediocre games, right?
yeah,
Like at a large scale, and I think that that's probably what we saw. It's like, yeah, they're serviceable, but like how many like classics like are we getting a year from large studios? I don't know about a lot of classics. They're at a
yeah,
point, I think, like maybe, I mean, sure, whatever, like in the 90s, early 2000s, we were getting a lot of classics, but I even think from like 2010 to like push into like 2020, you're like, oh my god, like this year had this and that and this
yeah,
and this, and like you look back, you're like, wow, like 2012 was a great year for games. 2015 was a great game for years. Uh, uh, Great year for games, not great game for years. That's a whole
although,
nother bag of
yeah.
hammers. But I think that now we're at a point where, yeah, like we're getting bangers every year, but sometimes it's not from like the mainstays,
Yeah,
right? It's like, yeah, that larger indie studio, that triple I studio, or like the double A's or the single A's or whatever, they're doing it,
yeah,
right? And it doesn't matter, like doesn't matter what these large companies are doing, because they
yeah,
did push out a lot of mediocrity. And like when you're charging X amount of dollars for a game, mediocrity is not going to cut it. And I think that
yeah,
people are fatigued about it, and it sucks that Xbox thought that they could just, grow and just invest all those resources into that. And
yeah. It's like the
and it sucks.
situation where it's like, if we had more money, we'll grow. Like money's
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
answer, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Where
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not the case, right? It like you're saying, it like people care about the games. They don't care how good
Yeah.
of a deal they're getting on the game, really, right? Like,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. And
yeah,
the Game Pass thing kind of cheapened a lot of things in general. I think probably long term. I think we had a
yeah,
conversation about subscription based stuff couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago. But
yeah,
it sucks to see. I think all the jobs being lost suck, but you just hope that something happens. Like these are huge job losses, right? This is not like,
yeah,
even outside of games, just in general. It's just like a lot of people out of work. Guess what? When you don't have work, you don't have money. And guess what? If you don't have money, you can't buy games. And then it's like the industry continues, or the
yeah,
economy continues to like, you know, fold over itself. So
yeah. But you can listen to the podcast, so
podcast is
we
free.
expect the
And
numbers to go up. No,
yeah,
but yeah, no, it's I also think like the thing with big companies and she even mentioned it in her message here is that they had 14 layers of management that they had to go through to make decisions on things. And she wants to
yeah,
reduce that down to like 5 and ideally 3, I think she said. When you think about an indie studio, they don't have that many
yeah,
layers to go through, right? So like they're able to output more. They also have less cooks in the kitchen trying to get their ideas in where it ends up being kind of a mess of a game. And then also there's less um restriction in trying new things, right? Like I even deal with it at like my company where it's like I think it's a good idea. My boss does. And then, but their boss is like, it's not a good idea. Let's not do it. And it's like, okay. Like, how many times did that happen probably with like these major franchises, Halo, Gears of War? I mean, we've been waiting for a Fable forever, where it's like,
Hmm.
they were maybe cooking something that would have worked. And then some executive, some management said, I don't think it's going to work. So we're not going to do it, or we're going to pivot. I think that's also like a major issue of why some of these companies didn't even put out that many games. Like Undead Labs was under Xbox's ownership for 8 years, didn't put out a single game.
Wow.
And so it's like, how do you expect anyone to pay for Game Pass? Like the whole idea was that they were going to really beef up Game Pass, right? I think some of the other studios, they released one, maybe two games during that span, which, it's not easy to make games, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like you acquire a company, like you want to see something from them. And I'm not blaming the companies either. I'm saying that all these levels of management, who knows if like Undead Labs had something and then just kind of got shut down because they had to go through 14 different levels. It just, we were talking about it in our group chat, but it made me think of the Office Space clip where he's like, I have 8 different bosses right now. It's like it
Yeah.
still holds true today, It's just like, how can you get anything done when you have that much micromanaging happening with that many different bosses? Um, and yeah, it's just it's something that actually my company recently went through. Like we had layoffs this year and last year, and now we've reduced the amount of layers because we just had so many from building up over the years. Not that I supported the layoffs or anything, but that's just what I'm noticing is happening. Is that
Hmm.
seems to be what people want to do in the tech space. So yeah. Anyway, sucks to see, but I'm glad no studios were closed at least, because that would have been
Hmm.
even more lost jobs. I'm hoping that we see, it'd be great if some of these studios just had some bangers that came out, like State of Decay 3, maybe, or 4. I think it's 4. But uh, it's just, hopefully it does well, basically. And they're like, we didn't need Xbox, or something like that would
Yeah.
be cool. But yeah, I mean, it sucks. It's a really, as much as we love doing the show and everything, it's just like it's a really shitty year to be like a gamer. I feel like, it's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Well, it's been like that. I feel like since we started this podcast, it was like it's been a lot of bad
yeah.
news.
Is it
Like
us?
just
Should
no, no. I think
I think
it
it's
was just a
us.
coincidence.
I don't know. I mean,
We're
maybe should we
single-handedly
test
closing
it? Should we
these.
stop releasing eps for like a year and all of a sudden,
We might
yeah.
have to skip next week, but we'll talk about that after the show.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Well,
Let's do it.
here's some good news. It's still the summer backlogs. Uh,
Ooh.
I'll talk briefly about the demo I played this week.
Yeah.
It's a game called Flask. Really was captured by the art style here. It's very kind of like that medieval, almost like Monty Python style, like papery kind of art style. It's a auto battler where you're kind of like this guy that's trying to steal goblin blood. It's a very funny game. It's so like, but you can't go into the mist, so you have to like get these kind of homunculus. You're creating these people, and basically instead of like cards or anything like that, you have flasks, and the
Mm,
flasks have different abilities and they have different kind of types, and each homunculus that you send out into battle will have a certain amount of flasks that kind of go back and forth, and like they'll do different things. And I played through one full run. I think it was about 45 minutes. I think that there's probably some quality of life stuff that I'd like to see change before it goes into early access or whatever. I'm not sure what their plan is, but overall, it's a really fun experience. If you like auto battlers, and or if you just like silly games, this one is like very silly, and I think the art style is just like very impressive. So, um, it's a funny one. This is a good time, and like the voiceovers in it are like great. The tutorial was very interesting as well. You have this like weird three-eyed cat that's teaching you how to do this. It's a neat game. So if anybody's interested in something like that, I would check out the demo. I had a good time with it, and I'm looking forward to its full release because I could see it being very like while it's silly and crazy looking, there is a lot of depth to be had here
Yeah.
with the auto battling, and I think that that's really neat. So yeah,
Yeah. I mean, this art style is like so killer. Like it looks awesome. It gives me obviously like Slay the Spire ish vibes, but like even more detail.
yeah,
And I think, I mean, obviously the humor side of things like intrigues me, and you can even tell. I don't even have the audio on. You can even tell like there's some silly things happening in the trailer. But yeah, this seems cool. Like Goblin blood, collecting it. I mean, interesting idea. Um, is this I guess there's no release date yet. Like do you have any indication of when it might be out? Like I don't know if they've
no
announced it
clue.
elsewhere. Okay.
No clue.
Um
But I
yeah.
think I did see a YouTube video where the dev commented on, and I think that they were typing a bunch of stuff. So I should
Yeah.
go back and look at that. But it's cool. I think like you know I think you would enjoy it. Like I think you would at least enjoy um the aesthetics of this and everything going on with the silliness. But
Yeah.
you also Throne of Bone was another auto battler similar. I think this one's even easier to play, which is nice.
Yeah.
Um, there's definitely a potential for more difficulty, and I think once you beat a run, you unlock other difficulties within the demo. But it's a great name, Flask. That's
Yeah.
just awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, because you're filling it up with the goblin blood.
yeah.
Um, and
But that's
it
also the abilities are the flasks that you
oh,
have.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and it has online PvP. It says so. I guess you'll be able to play against other players, or is it kind of like throwing a bone, where like it's like a
Yeah, so you're
imitation?
going through a run through a map and stuff like that, and like you have like a bunch of different shops to go through. I like that it's not just encounter after encounter after encounter. There's just like a bunch of cool stuff you can do in between the encounters. But you do like a regular monster battle where you just play against the AI in the game,
Hmm.
and then you'll get into alchemist battles because you're an alchemist and you're playing other people's teams that have
Oh,
like
okay.
gotten to that point or whatever. So
Gotcha. Okay. Um, cool. Yeah, it looks awesome. Um, keep us updated in case
yeah,
they do a release date at some point.
I'll be
Um,
following it.
yeah. From my side of things, I played a game. I know I talked a little about it last week, but I played a game called The Long Dark, which is a kind of one of the OG survival games that is always brought up in like the best survival games around. They have two different modes for this one. I focused on the story mode. And then there's also a survival mode, which I believe they added later. But it's a like an open-ended survival kind of sandbox that you're kind of used to. But I wanted to focus a little bit more on the story mode. It's episodic. There's 5 different episodes, I believe, and I haven't even finished the first episode. I'm like 4 hours into it, and I believe yeah, this is even a video of the all the episodes. This is how long is this? This is like how long is this? Over no over a day worth. It's
Oh my
all
god.
episodes. Yeah, it's like it's quite a while. Quite a lot of content. So that's why I didn't get through all of it, but I will at least talk about kind of how how the gameplay is, how I was feeling in terms of the way the story was going, things like that. So I can at least comment on those things because I don't know how this unravels. So it's hard for me to say if it's a great story, but I imagine it's got to be have a solid twist or something like that. because it's just so highly regarded. And I believe this was the first, mode that the game launched with. So, what's interesting about this game is that there's no like zombies or monsters, anything like that. You play as this character, Will, who is a bush pilot, and he is traveling through the like northern, I think it's Canadian wilderness in a plane with his ex partner, who's named Astrid. And the plane crashes because of a geomagnetic storm that happens. So you're kind of in this, wintry wilderness. You don't know where Astrid went. You're trying to find her. That's the goal of this story. Is you are trying to find any scraps of any indication of where she went. I know I'm skipping around like gameplay and story, but I'm probably not going to go through like the normal, sequence of things because it's just a lot of different things kind of meshed into one here. But you're trying to find Astrid and you stumble across a town. There's a few people left in the town, but it's clear that like something weird has happened in the town where they call you an outsider. They're not like mean to you or anything like that, but like there's this feeling that you you have stumbled upon a town where it has been abandoned on purpose by the people that used to live there other than those who are left, but you're not really sure why the town was abandoned. At least that's the vibe I've been getting when I've been talking to people. But, yeah, there's no monsters, no zombies. You do have to deal with wildlife. There's things like wolves and bears, moose, and then, of course, you have to deal with, like, the normal, survival things like, dealing with hunger and thirst and temperature. Also, you have to deal with your, like, how awake you are. I don't know, whatever you wanna call that, your fatigue, I guess. And then, obviously, your health, injury, and illness. So, that was a big learning curve for me because I played a good amount of survival games, so I'm familiar with those systems, but this is like hardcore-ish to the point where in the beginning of the game, before you even start playing, there is a big notice that says, like, do not try these things in real life to try and survive. Because I imagine you know, some of the things in this game you probably could do in real life, but obviously they don't want to be held accountable in case it doesn't end up working. There's also a huge notice, I forgot to mention this, about it's a big statement against the use of generative AI at the beginning of the game, which I think is really interesting because obviously this game came out, I believe, in 2014. So that was before this whole AI boom. And they had to add that in afterwards. And I did take a picture of it. It's probably hard for me to show on the screen, but the developers Hinterland, they say they're a human first company. I'll just kind of give a little summary here, but I like the way they phrased a few things. Um, it says they'll never use generative AI for any of their games, nor include any code or content in our games that wasn't created by humans. And then it says they're opposed to the widespread exploitation and abuse of human creativity. And then let's see. Yeah, they say we believe that this fight is an existential fight for the soul of humanity. Um, and we see games standing at the forefront of this fight. There's no ethical application of generative AI. All of these are built on theft, commercial or industrial scale theft, and they don't have any of their work, it's not consent to be used in any generative AI models. And they kind of talk about that, but it's a very strong statement. It's the first thing you see when you boot the game up. And so I was like, wow, this is first off good to know. And second off, I'm gonna look through I almost like play this game differently because I read that message where I'm like appreciating it even more now, which I think will maybe be something that happens more and more as people, try to stay away from AI generated games and just companies that have used generative AI, in the process of making the game. It just makes you appreciate things a little bit less when they do it. So I was appreciating a lot of things in this game. Just the small little details. It's not the most uh, high fidelity game. It came out in 2014, so some of the characters look a little different, little odd, but that's kind of like their art style. And it can be a little bit difficult at night to like navigate because obviously it's supposed to be difficult, but also I think there's just some game design things in this game where like that just wasn't a trend back then, where it's like kind of guiding you maybe in the right direction. Like you do have to explore a little bit to figure out where to go, which I appreciate. But yeah, it's a hardcore survival game. You're gonna have to like essentially you kind of start by like I got to figure out how to make a fire so I can stay warm, and then okay, what can I do with this fire? Oh, I found like a recycled can. Let me put that on the fire. Oh, I can fill it with snow that's nearby, and I can make I can boil it and make clean water so I can drink that water. So it's kind of figuring things out in that way, which I was appreciative of, because some of the other survival games you play where you're just like, oh, all I have to do to get water is go down to the river and you just drink it, or you just pick it up and then you throw it in the stove or something like that. This actually, you have to start a fire by using materials you found, and then there's a chance that the fire will fail. You'll actually have like a success chance, and it'll tell you how long the fire is going to burn for. You can add more fuel to it depending on what you add. It extends the life of the fire. Like all these little details in the game I think add up to be a really exciting experience, to the point where, like I told you, I'm played for 4 hours. I'm still in episode one. Most of that time has just been figuring out how things work, right? Like I died a few times. I'm like, all right, I really need to prioritize staying warm. Like that's a big thing in this game. I can't kind of venture off and not have anything to build a fire with, which happened a few times. It kind of makes you like play the game a little bit differently because it's a little bit more hardcore. You can see this players here like picking up a bunch of sticks and reclaim wood, things like that. And something else that this game does is it really cares about like the time, right? So, like I mentioned, that the fire it will tell you, oh, this fire is going to burn for 3 hours and 30 minutes. Now that's in-game time. That's not like real life time, but that system carries through almost everything else in the game. Where like you can be in a building and you see like a crate. You're like, okay, in another survival game, you would just take your axe and break that crate down, probably get some wood. In this game, you have to decide, do I want to break this down? And it'll tell you it'll take 3 hours, maybe, and maybe not 3 hours, 30 minutes to break down this crate. It's going to use this many calories. So your hunger and your thirst are going to go down. And so you need to kind of decide, well, do I need that wood to make a fire, or can I keep going in the journey and like maybe I'll find more wood elsewhere? So it's kind of that like it's like that game of tug of rope, right? Is it tug of rope?
Tug of war?
Tug of war, not tug of rope, but you're tugging a rope.
Yeah, the
Tug of
rope's
war.
involved.
Yeah. So you kind of need to like decide, like everything is a decision. Although you do find some fires that are next to like NPCs that don't burn out, which is nice. I've been utilizing those. But once you leave those areas, you start to realize how important it is to keep things on your person. They even did things like when your fatigue gets lower, your carry weight also gets lower. So you have like a higher chance of getting like a sprained ankle. All those sort of things like come into play. So you always want to try to make sure you've got something like a bed that you can put out, something to stay warm. It's very interesting because it's kind of making the actual survival the main focus of the game, which, like, funny enough, not a lot of survival games kind of do, right? Like it's like, I don't know, I've played games where you chop down a tree and, oh, I got 50 wood. Oh, I've got enough wood to like like you're trying to like move through the tiers of things you can craft is essentially the gameplay loop for other survival games. This one is like, I'm just trying to hold on, and I'm just trying to survive enough to make it to the next area. So I did start out by playing the survival mode, and I realized, okay, I've got to play the story mode here because it probably teaches you a little bit of how to play, which it does.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's a really like it's a hardcore survival game. It's not a combat focused game, but there is combat, but they typically just tell you to kind of stay away from things. It's very like exploration driven. Yeah, I've been really enjoying it so far. I'm kind of unraveling the story. I haven't really, you know, made any big leaps into like where Astrid is, anything like that. But I've been really enjoying like, oh, my torch is out, but I have matches. I can light a match for like 30 seconds so I can get through, this area, and if the match goes out it doesn't let me craft anything because it's too dark. Like figuring out all these systems that they have in play, but also still having a goal of like unraveling more of the story has been, it's been great. Like I've been just sitting back on the couch playing. It's Steam Deck verified, so I've been playing on the Steam Deck with the dock, and it's um it's been just great like discovering things, like that's what I love typically about survival games is like everything isn't spoon fed to you and you're like, oh wow, I can like craft this, or like, oh, I can break this down, I didn't even realize, or I can kill this rabbit and it gives me these sort of things. Like figuring that stuff out on your own is like not only super satisfying, but I feel like just makes the gameplay that much more interesting. So yeah, I've been enjoying it. This is part of the story that we're watching here. So I haven't got, or I've already passed this part, so this isn't spoilers for me or anything, even though he's just picking up coal right now, it looks like. But um, yeah, that's all of my experience sort of in a nutshell. Like it is, I can see why people hold this game so highly. And I'm not even done with the first episode. I do want to continue to play it when I have time so I can get through these episodes, but it is, uh, it makes me very excited to finally go into like the open world mode and be like, all right, like, I'm gonna maybe play. I don't know if it's multiplayer to be honest, but I'm gonna figure out what to do. No one's gonna guide me here, but I've played the story, so I have enough kind of understanding of how this world works. So yeah, it's a really great game, and I'm glad I'm finally coming around to playing it. So yeah, I know it's a little all over the place there, but there's just a lot
No.
of things to talk about with this one. Story's solid. The art style, I like the art style and the overall atmosphere. Voice acting is great. Gameplay's interesting. You can interact with so many different things. And Yeah, I don't really have a lot I would like change about the game. Um, to be honest. Like, I mean, other than like maybe some more modern things, of like, I don't know, being able to have a cleaner like inventory system, like things like that, that like, I think some other games do a little bit better. Um, but this one, yeah, it's like, for example, like one thing is like I found an oil lamp, right? And like I have fuel in my backpack, but like trying to figure out like there's no button to like refuel it. Like I had to go into my inventory, find my oil lamp, click like an actions button, and then there's like a refuel in there. But if you go to like the fuel, it doesn't say, oh, fill oil lamp or anything like that. Or like even when you have the lamp out, if you put it on the ground and you take out the fuel, like I didn't figure out a way to like, it's just like things like that where I'm like, I feel like that could be a little cleaned up, but it's a 12-year-old game, so I'm not gonna bash it for those things. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's it. Boom.
No, glad you're liking it. This is the whole point of the summer backlogs, get into something that you've been meaning to play and hopefully enjoying yourself, which obviously you have. And I thought honestly when you opened up and you're like, this is the long dark. There's two game modes. I thought you were gonna say long or dark, and, and, those are the two game
Long
modes.
or dark? Hey,
Yeah,
they're both long and dark.
yeah. But no, awesome. Sounds good. Sounds good. We got to figure out next week. I think next week might be a week off based on some things that have come up in my life, but we'll see. I will talk about it after.
Sounds good.
Things are not going. No, it's just a work thing that came up. But we do have some listener questions. These came from the Fresh Juice Discord. First one comes from Kmore. Is the future of gaming really digital only? If so, collector editions coming with an empty steel book is really pathetic. Couldn't agree more, Kmore.
I disagree. All right. I think it's great. No. Yeah, I think that the notion that the future of gaming would be digital has been around for a while. Um, I think it probably started when like PC gaming ended up, it's all digital now basically. Like you can still get discs, but consoles are the only thing left that is left like physical media for games, like alive. So I think that all digital gaming has always been the future, but it's I never expected it to be this soon, I guess,
Mm,
is like has been the issue. And I think that physical media is like super important. Like I think having the choice is what is the most important thing. It doesn't even, regardless of whether people prefer physical or digital, like we should always have a choice. And the fact that that's being taken away from us without, you know, us having any say basically, or, it just, it feels wrong. And I'm pretty confident that Nintendo will always have a physical side of things, because I think that they're probably out of Sony, Xbox, and Nintendo. I think that Nintendo probably has a larger share of people that buy physical games still.
mm,
I see that most often with like Switch cartridges, things like that, and even before the Switch, like people still buy the physical versions of games for Nintendo versus just getting it digitally on like, I mean, I know the 3DS eShop's gone, but like, and that there you go. There's a perfect example. The eShop on the 3DS is gone, so you can't even get
mm-hmm.
digital games, but you can still get the physical ones. So yeah, I agree. Like, I think if you're buying a collector's edition or something, like it should always have a disc in it, because that's the whole point of getting something physical. But it sucks. I'm a mostly digital gamer, but it it's made me start to think, oh, maybe I should look more into like the DRM free and like the GOG side of gaming, where you can buy games and like you fully own that digital game, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
if Steam went away, you can still play the game, right? Like there are games that abide by that. It's not as many as what's available that don't abide by it, but it's made me start thinking about that, because since I am a more digital gamer, um, I I want to own my games. I want to own my media. I want to own my shows and my movies and all that sort of stuff. So I think it sucks. Yeah, it just people should always have an option, and the fact that that's being taken away, um, I think it's going to actually get people to like not buy PlayStation or not buy Xbox entirely if they don't even offer a physical side of things. So anyway, I know you're more of a physical gamer though. You're a
Yeah,
tactile. You're
I
tactile.
like tactility, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like, obviously, I'm definitely like on the PC. It's all digital, but I always like getting a Switch cartridge, or I miss Game Boy cartridges and
Yeah.
playing stuff, handheld and stuff like that. Yeah, we have the Thor now, but like there is a certain, it's physical, right? It's a physical thing, so it's
Yeah.
nice. It's like what is PlayStation, Xbox going to eventually be? Just like competitors to Steam,
Yeah.
just with their own console. And like, why would you get the console? It's like, well, the PC does this all better, right? I
Yep.
mean, to a certain extent, and you can upgrade it. So, yeah, I don't know.
It also
I hope
begs
not.
it begs the question too, which people have had before, but like, why were physical games the same price as digital games? Shouldn't
Yeah,
digital games be cheaper because you don't
yeah,
have that? So it's like, well, now physical is going away, so you don't have that argument anymore, really, right? It's just like whatever they're going to
yeah.
charge is what they charge. That's the only way to get it. So, um,
Also, just
yeah.
I think that this is like almost like a hot. No, I'm gonna say this is a hot take. I'm gonna write it down.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah, but thank you, K Moore. Next question comes from Carp, who asks, "You have to choose one for the rest of your life: potato chip or tortilla chip."
Oh, all right. So I almost lean more towards the potato chip because there's more varieties of potato chip, right? Like if you're thinking like sour cream and onion, salt and vinegar, like it's all on a potato chip, right? So I lean more towards the potato chip. I love a tortilla chip though. Don't get me wrong.
Mm.
Like if there's a bowl of plain potato chips and plain tortilla chips, I'm probably having a tortilla chip. But I just if it's for the rest of my life, I'm probably gonna want a little bit more variety. I feel like the tortilla chips, they got like you got the blue, you got different colors, but it's like it's kind of the same, different shapes. But it's like you're not getting different flavors, really, I guess. I'm like, I feel like for the rest of my life, I'm gonna want different flavors. So I'm gonna go with the potato chip.
Well, here's the thing. Doritos are tortilla chips,
They're
are they
not even
not?
chips, all right? There's like a alien substance. Um, But yeah, that's true. That's true. I still feel like I go potato though, because I love potato chips.
I am gonna go tortilla chip. I love potato chips. I do. I was just watching, and Arcarp asked this because I was just watching a video of like all these chefs trying like all the brands of potato chips, and then she asked this,
Yeah.
and tortilla chip to me, if I were to give up tortilla chips, that means I'm giving up like good nachos,
Mhm.
and I love nachos.
Yeah.
So like, and also it's like, well, what purpose is salsa really going to like play in my life anymore? You know, guacamole. Yeah, I can dip like regular chips in there, but like
What role
I'm
does
kind
salsa
of,
play in your life right now? I want to know.
well, I mean,
Is
like,
it
you know, it's a love triangle between me, salsa, and the tortilla chip. We're all getting involved sometimes. It gets a little weird. Just
yeah.
call the Uber and go home. Um, but I think that I need the tortilla chip. Like if the potato chip disappeared from my life, it's just like okay, I'm not having potato chips anymore. That's it, right? If tortilla chips disappear from my life, I'm not having chips and salsa. I'm not having chips and dip. I'm not, or chips and like guac. I'm not having nachos. You know, I think that's enough for me to go with the tortilla chip. As
Yeah.
much as I love both, and the variety is nice. The variety is nice with the potato chip, but like the sauces and fixins that you can have with a tortilla chip.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's just as much variety to me. So,
It's a good argument. I think the thing I'm not a big nacho guy. Like
oh, okay.
it has to be like really good nachos. Like I'm not just gonna
Hmm.
if it's like mediocre nachos, I'm just kind of like I don't want to. This is just too much
True,
work,
true.
kind of thing. But if it's a place that has like amazing nachos, I'm like I'm in. But yeah, it's a tough one because I do love tortilla chips. Like I get like Chipotle's chips from time to time, and they're
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
you know, the lime salt and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one.
It is a
I
tough
hope
one.
I never have to choose.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be a crazy choice, but but anyway, we're gonna go down to the rec room where we recommend something that perhaps is not an indie game. What do you have to recommend this week?
I'm recommending The Bear season 5. I know I've recommended The Bear before. This is the final season of The Bear, and we finished it last night, I believe. And I gotta say, the last two episodes I think are some of the best of The Bear, and the second to last episode might be my favorite of all time from The Bear. It's just
Wow.
such a great show. I think that it had like its ups and downs, like it has like lulls kind of like throughout the seasons and things like that. But like I really feel like season 5 was a pretty solid season. For in the name of character development. That's all I'll kind of
Okay,
say of
cool.
like it is just it's a great season if you're hoping for character development. So yeah, but that's all I'll say. It's great. I highly recommend it. And it's definitely, was a good experience watching that show overall. Um and yeah, I enjoyed season 5. So check it out if you haven't already. I think all of it's on Hulu, I think. So
Hmm.
if you guys have Hulu, check out The Bear.
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah.
We are excited to watch it. And that has all made me pretty excited because I think some of the characters in that show are just like some of my favorite characters in television I've ever watched, right? Like Cousin, just
Yeah.
alone, one of the best. So like I'm just excited to see how it all wraps up.
Yeah.
Um there was a couple things I could recommend this week, but we watched a movie called Sorcerer. This is a movie I had heard about for a while and always wanted to check it out, and then finally I was like, I'm watching it. I want to, I always like going back and watching like, shows or movies that are considered to be like technical achievements at the time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Sorcerer is this movie that flopped at the box office in the 70 or I think 79 maybe. Um because it came out the same time as Star Wars. and
Ah,
um
okay.
but honestly, it's a good movie. It's like definitely dated in a lot of ways. It's like it has a lot of that filming style and like movie kind of feel of the 70s where you got the quick cuts and the quick zoom ins and a lot of the dialogue is like that. But the story is it's four guys that got in some kind of trouble one way or another, and they just run away and they end up in this South American village where they're just working for, they're kind of like on the down low in the
Mhm.
South American, like kind of war torn village where they're working for like an oil company under pseudonyms. And then they get the opportunity to kind of like make enough money to buy like new passports and like have a new life
Mhm.
if they transport this nitroglyceride, this like explosive stuff that they can't move with a helicopter. They need it to go by land 200 miles through the jungle in trucks. But the problem is if the truck moves too much or the
Yeah.
nitroglyceride like, shakes or like spills, boom, explodes. So these four guys basically get into the trucks and they try to bring it across the jungle and there's just like a lot of tension, a lot of uh interesting moments where like basically it's like if it's almost like the bear in a lot of ways where it's like you're just gonna be like kind of stressed out the whole time, but like maybe it turns out all right, maybe it doesn't, who knows.
Mhm.
But it's a good movie. I actually liked it a lot. So
So is there no wizard in it, or
no, there's no wizard. Well,
I thought you were gonna be, but the thing is,
the thing
there's a
is there's
wizard in the
wizards.
jungle, and he's trying to
So,
stop you. The
well,
sorcerer.
there's like at certain points you like, there's definitely some kind of like spooky stuff, but mostly I think one of the trucks name was Sorcerer.
Oh, okay.
So um but really, really interesting film. So
Yeah. Nice.
yeah.
Nice. Cool. Cool. Yeah.
But cool. Yeah, that's it. That's gonna do it for the show, folks. I've been one of your hosts, Tommy Fresh. I have another podcast called Fresh and Buds. This week we have Elaine Hammond Tree, one of my best buds on the show. There's a bunch of heroes in Flesh and Blood that have gone to the living legend realm. So we'll be talking about that. Also, the fan made online client is starting to implement some ads, some like kind of
Mm.
things to like make up for the server costs. So we'll probably discuss that as well. It's been the hot topic this week. You can find us on all socials at Fresh Juice Pod. You can find me on Blue Sky Fresh Buzz Pod. And where can people find you, Matt?
Find me at Matty Gorm, GORM, on all the socials, and I have a dinosaur survival game that I'm going to be playing and showing on the channel soon. That is in early alpha, so be on the lookout for that. Yeah,
Early Alpha.
early alpha.
I mean, dinosaurs were kind of the early alphas. So
That's true. That's
how
true.
about that? Well, stay juicy,